You guys, I am in the process of undoing my braids, so say hello to Pikachu. Hi. So this is I really hope I'm using this mic. I hope the audio is clear and not bad. So this is a follow-up to my part 1 video about life as a marketing director. Ooh, I hope y'all didn't see. Ooh, I hope the cheat just didn't come out. Life as a marketing director in PHP agency. I'm going to just respond to a few of the comments. I'm going to use a specific comment as like my proxy. So no, I'm not attacking you. You just really stood out to me. Because you said something like that you're sorry that I experienced these things in my hierarchy and that your hierarchy doesn't do these things. I'm offended because and I know you said that you're not trying to discredit what I've said. But when you try to delude yourself, let's say you're deluding yourself, that because your hierarchy has a leader who actually gives a damn about human beings, because you're part of that hierarchy, you are exempt from the things I've discussed. You know you're not. You know you're not. First, I want to say absolutely no shade to your leader because I've met him and his wife, incredibly lovely, admirable, God-fearing, if that matters to you, beautiful, goal-driven. Shoot, I probably wouldn't have left when I did if I was in their hierarchy. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. But I understand why you want to defend them. And I believe they are people worth defending. So I don't mean any hostility. But let's put aside the fact that you and I are both aware that Patrick Bet-David is a certain way and trained his guys to be a certain way because everything is about duplicating. And your uplines decided to try to be a different way. Beautiful. Great. PHP agency is still PHP agency. Your hierarchy still participates in everything PHP agency. Your hierarchy makes a lot of noise at the big event. Let's use a big event as an example of how your team, and your hierarchy are not exempt from the BS that I am exposing. So you're at the big event. Your team makes a lot of noise. Y'all do. As y'all should. Y'all win a few contests. I'm sure y'all win it the right way. All on the up and up. No games, no shenanigans. Okay? But a lot of other teams win too. And a lot of the people who break records win too. And these people get to speak from stage. Your uplines speak from stage too. Awesome. I always loved when they poured belief into my team. Awesome. The shenanigans also make it to the stage, right? So when somebody hits marketing director in 30 days and they're on stage talking about how all they had to do was follow the system, 10, 3, 1, what have you, 10 prospects, whatever. They're on stage talking about all I did was follow the system in the book. You mean to tell me you and your uplines don't know that they're lying? You mean to tell me you and your uplines don't know that that person is lying to your team? When in actuality, let's put aside illegal activities, let's put aside fraud. You're very well aware of the tactic of having a team write somebody's name on the policy so that they get at least half credit. Okay, Okay, let's say you don't want to go full baddie, so you give them 25% credit. So you can have a plausible rationale as to why they deserve 25% credit. You want to tell me that's the system? The system says when somebody is really close to their promotion and it's going to make your team look really good, um, convince everyone on the team to make their policies go towards their promotion. That's in the book? No, it's not. And you know what happens. Your uplines know what happens. Your uplines probably know exactly who on stage is lying, bold-faced lying about how they operate versus who's telling the truth. You're telling me that doesn't affect your hierarchy? You're telling me that just doesn't touch y'all. That just doesn't touch y'all because y'all do prayer circles together. Okay. Let me calm down because I'm going to lose my voice. And I don't want to come off as hostile. I just don't like when people delude themselves. Okay, you can't tell me that when Patrick Bet-David himself and the entire company is telling you that you can, if you just hit a certain promotion in a certain amount of time, you can own stock in PHP. You're telling me that your hierarchy just ignores that because it's not actually true? Yeah, because don't tell me you fell for it. Don't tell me when they told you you can own stock in PHP, you thought it meant they will actually give you stock. And don't tell me your uplines told you they were gifted stock in PHP. Let me talk about that little thing. So for a while, this is before PHP was sold to a bigger company called Integrity. They were shilling this idea that, meet certain requirements and you get to own stock in PHP. And you get to be a part owner in PHP. It's a lie. They are stock options that have stipulations on when and how they can be exercised. I haven't looked at one in a while. I believe one of the stipulations is you must remain in the company for between 5 and 10 years. I don't remember which. You have to make a certain cash flow consecutively. Like there's all these stipulations, and people who got the stock option that actually can't be exercised, people who won that by the hair on their cheek and chin will likely never qualify to exercise their stock option. And to be frank, they wouldn't care because the 0.00 whatever percent that they got is nothing, worthless. Okay. And they're trying to sell the dream that PHP could be evaluated at $1 billion, but it never was even close. I don't even know if it ever got valuated at the triple digit millions. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But that was a little alleged lie. Okay, let me call it a misleading motivation. That was a huge company-wide misleading motivational carrot. And you want to tell me because your hierarchy is so nice and so good, it didn't affect you guys? And you're trying to tell me that you guys y'all took no part in that? Okay, that is just one example. I don't want this video to go on super duper long, so I'm not going to give too many examples. But I'm just trying to drive home the point that the reason I quit PHP was because I could see no way of running a life insurance business attached to PHP that I found to be ethical. And my ethics are that if I'm telling you that you can achieve something, I'm not playing games with you. When I told people who joined my team I told them, as long as you get your insurance license, I promise you, I am going to force you to make money. When I told them that, I told them that because I knew I could do it. My skill set and my knowledge of the business was so much so that I knew that I could give them what I promised them. This is what you have to do. If you do what you do, I'll do what I do. Get your license, I can get you paid. Get your license, I can get you paid. Right? But then when the company is lying to me and expecting me to pass the lie on to my team, I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with that. And let's pretend that we just block out the entire company. We just block out all contests and all of those resources that we use to actually get to make production. Because I didn't want to stop participating in contests. For one, I'm a competitive bulldog. I love nothing more than getting into fights, defending my upline, defending my honor, defending my people. I love nothing more than that. I love nothing more than shit talking when I have the right to. I don't want to let go of that. And also it makes us some good money because people are motivated. They're motivated by me being motivated. Me being hyped up hypes them up. And then we make some money. But let's say I just say, okay, you know what? Never mind. You know, I've seen too many unethical things and too many lies, and I don't want to be a part of it. Okay. So then what's the point of being in PHP? So am I just not going to go to big events because I know people are lying on stage? We're just going to do nothing that involves other people or other hierarchies in PHP. And don't tell me that, because your hierarchy competes against other hierarchies. Your hierarchy collaborates with other hierarchies. Okay? The mere fact that your uplines speak to my hierarchy's teams. Do you get what I'm saying? The corruption, or the like, whatever you want to call it, these things that I'm calling out are inescapable as long as you're a PHP agent. Some people can work with that. I can't. I'm way too neurodivergent. I also want to address the notion that these things happen in other companies. They do. Okay, I'm not just talking about other MLMs, but it happens in bigger companies too. You know, let's use Enron for example. So these things happen in the company Enron. We're all aware of this. But when you join Enron, when you initiate your relationship with Enron, they don't make you any promises other than, as long as you fulfill your job description, you're going to get paid the agreed upon salary. Oh, right. Okay. So I don't care that the CTO and the CEO are playing mind games with each other and making the managers do blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Like, that doesn't bother me the same way, because you're not promising some bright-eyed, bushy-tailed person that now that you work at Enron, maybe one day you'll be the CEO too. Like, you're not promising that. Okay? And if you're getting abused at work, you have union or workers' rights to protect you. You can sue. Things are different when you're 1099 like you are at PHP. Things are a little bit different. And things are a little bit different when you're in a company that incentivizes you to sell the dream constantly and consistently. In fact, they teach you to do this. They teach you to do this. You do this. Your uplines do this. Your uplines are very good at doing it. Part of why they're really good at it is because they have something bigger they believe in, which is beautiful. But understand, they're very well aware of the game that they signed up for, that they are now bringing you through. I'm not okay with bringing people through that game. I'm not okay with selling a dream that I know likely won't happen. And sure, if you quit before, like, people quit all the time, but when you actually gave it your earnest effort, your earnest shot, and you don't make it because you've been sold lies, I'm sorry. I was not able to sleep at night. I just, okay, so yes, there are certain issues that are hierarchy specific. Mind you, these hierarchy specific issues happen in multiple hierarchies. So that's a problem. But even if I was in a beautiful hierarchy where everybody loves each other and if there's no competition, I'm not in that hierarchy. I'm sorry. I love competition. But even if I was in the most rainbow lollipops of the hierarchies, it doesn't remove the fact that we are still a hierarchy in PHP. And there's a way of doing things in PHP. And if you don't do those things, then why be in PHP? In fact, you will lose money. If you're in PHP and you don't do things the PHP way, you will lose money. So what else is there to do but to quit? The unwritten culture, the culture that is not written in the guidebook, it matters. It comes from Patrick Bet-David. He has a way of doing things, and he has a way of doing things that, like, a lot of people don't, just listen to him. Like, no, who speaks like Patrick Bet-David? Who thinks the way that he thinks? Okay, it's not a lot of people. Okay, so when I'm describing things that happen in so many companies, but I'm also describing things that are unique to Patrick Bet-David because it's Patrick Bet-David. Patrick Bet-David started PHP in hopes that he would find another Patrick Bet-David. In order to find a duplicate of yourself, you must duplicate yourself. In order to find a duplicate of yourself, you must duplicate yourself. What that means is you are Michelangelo. You have a slab of marble and you see the Son of David or whatever that sculpture is called. You see it in the marble and you just have to chip it away. So when you're duplicating yourself in your agents, that's what you're doing. You are trying to bring out that masterpiece from somebody. Okay, my upline MD brought out my masterpiece. He brought me out. He brought me out. And that's how we were able to make a promotion, right? Your uplines brought you out. Okay, but the culture that brings people out, technically, is fine, right? Like, it's just competition. But when you look into the reality of what's happening in these competitions, it's not okay. It's not okay, and you're selling people on BS. And it doesn't compare to what happens at a W-2 job, because a W-2 job is not selling you on why you should devote more time, more energy, more of your money to achieving a goal within the company that you likely won't get. And if you do get it, you'll be expected to continue shilling BS. Okay, that doesn't happen when you apply to work somewhere. Okay, how many times have you told your associates that when people are carrying around the big checks and bragging about their incomes, yeah, I made $5 million. How many times do you tell your associates that that's not from life insurance sales? A lot of that is from bonuses from PHP agency, which is paid for by your enrollment fee. How many times do you tell an associate that? You don't ever tell an associate that. There are so many. It's just too many. It's just too many. It's just too many. It's just too much BS. It's just too much BS. And you can't avoid it if you're in that company. So somebody asked me then, why join PHP? If you can have direct access to the carriers yourself. The carriers themselves have their own contests. Did you know that? I mean, it's not a secret. But it's not part of the PHP culture to push you to win an insurance carrier's contest. It's not part of the culture. Maybe your hierarchy. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a team that pushes it more. Because I had a friend, she won the insurance carriers. She would win so many of their contests. And so part of the income that she's reporting is from winnings from those carrier contests. And nobody else would do it because it's not part of PHP culture to do carrier contests, even though it would make you more money. But, oh shit, what was I saying? I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, somebody was asking me why join PHP. If you can do contests without PHP, if you can have access to the carriers without PHP, what's the point of PHP? It's the glory, it's the ego. There are people who run successful life insurance agencies themselves who are independent successfully, and they consider joining PHP because they're that bored. They're bored. PHP, all the excitement, the energy PHP has, the culture, you can't tell me that culture is everywhere. People leave other MLMs because the culture of PHP is so exciting. You're just not told that exciting culture comes with Game of Thrones manipulation tactics. And they don't tell you that the longer you stay in PHP, the more we're teaching you how to manipulate, right? Like at a certain point, you've learned everything you need to know about selling life insurance. And now they're just teaching you how to manipulate agents. The higher up you go in your classes in PHP, the more it's literally just about how to be a better manipulator. And some people love that. Some people love being a big fish in a small pond. Some people love the idea of being extraterrestrial. There's this one POS. He's really high up there, even though he shouldn't be because he legally cannot have a life insurance license and all of his income comes through his wife. And he never talks about it because he's just too machismo to ever admit that or talk about that. But anyway, I digress. This POS really thought he was going to be Patrick's right-hand man because there's another ex-con who gets to be Patrick's right-hand man. So he thought he could be Patrick's right-hand man. He thought he's going to always be on stage with Patrick, and he's going to be on Patrick's podcast, and he's going to get to interview the people that Patrick David interviews. And he was very wrong. But I'm sure he still thinks, well, one day, like, let me just get my numbers up, and then one day he'll see. Okay, these non-logical things motivate people to remain in PHP. I mentioned relationships before, and that's something that makes people stay. And then there's also this ego, this your name in lights, this fame. I mean, tell me, MD to MD, how did it make you feel when people suddenly were kissing your ass? People were buying you coffee or lunch or even gifts. How did that make you feel? Did you like it? Like, how does it make you feel? Because when I think about when it happened to me, it felt so weird. Like, if it was somebody that I really helped them, you know what I mean? Because I was really that type of person. You're a brand new person. You're shaking your boots. You're scared. I tell you, give me your phone. Give me your phone. Give me your phone. And people will literally give me their phones. I don't know how or why. Like, I don't know how I I don't know how I did that, but they would give me their phones. And I would tell them to study for the exam. I'm going to make you $500. So, like, when it comes from somebody I know I personally helped, I just think it's so sweet. But then how did you feel when it started coming from people that you have nothing to do with? Because that made me feel very uncomfortable. because you're only doing that because you've been brainwashed to do so. Because that's part of the system. It's part of being duplicatable. Because when you hit marketing director, you're going to want people to do that for you too. You want people to take you seriously and know your worth. So do it to them first. That felt super weird to me. Some people stay for that. Some people stay because that feels intoxicating for them. So to the person who's trying to like understand what is the logical reason to join PHP or to stay, I don't want to say it's illogical. I'm not one of these people who believe that anything that has an iota of emotion in it is illogical. Emotional things are logical. It's just, what is your thing? Like, what's your thing? Because for me, my thing, I mean, you can distract me with contests. You can distract me with printing my name and having Patrick Bet-David say my name, and I won contests and giving me praises and fights and oh, you think you can beat me? You can distract me with that. And it's very effective in general. This is how PHP gets its numbers, because we're recruiting people who are highly distractible in this nature. There's a reason why you see a lot of young men joining PHP, okay? Young men need that kind of aggressive, competitive distraction a lot of times to be productive. And apparently, I guess girls with ADHD sometimes do too. You can distract me with that, but then at the end of the day, when I look at my life and what I'm building in my life, I want it to mean something. I want to have a legitimate business. And the fact that my business is not my business, I'm shamed for running things the way I want to. You're telling me, oh, you're in a different hierarchy, so things are different. But Patrick Bet-David said nobody should be running a virtual business. Patrick Bet-David said from his mouth, I don't know, maybe you weren't in that meeting. I don't remember if he said it company-wide or if he just said it to the MDs at the time. Patrick Bet-David said you should not be running a virtual office. He said you cannot succeed running a virtual office. Meanwhile, people across the country were doing so. People outside of PHP were doing so. People in PHP were doing so. And when Patrick Bet-David found out, he chewed them out. Or had their uplines chew them out. Put obstacles in their way to do everything they can to stop that person from running their business the way that they see fit, the way that works for them. Have you ever seen somebody who was doing really well, their numbers were going up, and then all of a sudden they go down? It's not that they just got a stroke of bad luck. It's they weren't falling in line. They weren't falling in line. They're being forced into a box to do things a way that doesn't work for them. Sometimes people just emotionally can't do it. Sometimes people just, I can't lie anymore. I can't deceive people anymore. Some people, they're breaking their friendships, their relationships outside of PHP just to appease someone else. Sometimes people are like, you know what? I can't survive off of just being loyal to you. Sometimes I need to be loyal to myself and take care of my family and myself. When I realized we don't own our business, and it's not because of something I experienced, but because of my experience and then what I saw. And saw the people I admired. And saw that none of us own our business. And then I saw that you can be making more elsewhere for far less abuse, for far less effort, for far less gaslighting. For me, having a viable business that makes sense, that I feel proud of, that I could eventually sell. Having a real business was my thing. Since you can't have a real business in PHP, it makes sense for someone like me to quit. But if your thing is to feel like hot shit, then you're not going to quit PHP. And to whoever's listening, I'm not saying that you're remaining in PHP because you think you're hot shit. Like, I believe there are so many reasons people say. That's just one reason that I personally don't relate to. Like, having my name called on stage every month, that's not a good enough reason for me to say. For me personally. But for some people it is. But yeah, I'm just trying to really nail it home. I'm just really trying to nail it. To nail it. To really get it through. That the issues in PHP are not only hierarchy or team specific issues. They are company-wide issues that are intentional. And at every point in your journey in PHP, you decide how much of it you can take. And then sometimes you feel like, oh, you know what, it's fine, I can do this. But then you reach a new level and you find out a whole new world of BS that you have to decide how you'll handle. How will you navigate through it? Will you use? Some people use it. And I feel like people who know how to sling BS the best rise up the fastest. And then, yeah, there was one kid, I told somebody that if you don't fall in line, you lose opportunities. And they didn't understand what I meant by opportunities. I mean, for example, let's say you're one of these people who wanted to run a virtual office. Pat said no. You still want to run your virtual office. Okay, so you don't get any additional appointments. Every appointment you run is because you generated it. You are no longer a role model in this office, and we are not giving you any more appointments that you could earn money from. And we're no longer going to give you any recognition. Anytime you do something good, we're going to find a way to give credit to somebody else. And then when we give credit to somebody else, that means that they're going to get favor in any contests or etc. and win those cash prizes. And the list goes on, etc., etc., etc. If you're in PHP, even if you haven't seen it because you didn't know what's going on, hopefully now next time you go to your meeting, you can pay attention and just look at the dynamics and see what's going on. Okay, the last thing I'll address today is somebody asked me, Patrick with David, is he the valuetainment guy? Yes, he is. Somebody said he's always seemed like a scammer. I don't blame you. He is very good with his words. He's good at storytelling. He's good at answering questions with stories. And he's good at sales. He's good at sales. And then somebody said that they feel like he's racist. He seems to be racist, and I also don't blame you. I don't want to get too much into that. But like I said in part 1, he is now a right-wing show. He is now a part of the alt-right pipeline. And it's not anything with Patrick Bet-David. It's never accidental with Patrick Bet-David. Everything with him is intentional. He's in that pipeline for a reason. So if that's how you feel about him, it makes sense. I don't blame you. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't want to talk too much on him because I don't know him personally. You know, I've met him, spoken with him, eaten food with him, but I don't know him personally. Okay, he does not tell me his dreams at night or anything like that. I just wanted to affirm what you felt because he has created a cult of personality. And if you're in PHP and you're a player in PHP, he's trying to teach you how to do the same. Please and please do not be like some of these VPs and board councils in PHP who are attempting to build a cult of personality and get really upset if it doesn't work. Or get really upset when somebody's not impressed by them, okay? Please do not make somebody's life misery because they won't S your D, okay? But yeah, if you posted that comment under any other video, you would get attacked. And I just want to validate how you feel because how you feel makes sense and I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, please leave me any more comments, questions, concerns in the comments because as you can tell, I love yapping. I love sharing my experience. It's easier for me to convey information when there's like a question I'm like trying to directly ask. And let me know if you want more. And if you just vibe with me, subscribe because I post whatever I want, whenever I want. And I love having y'all part of the tribe. Until next time, much love, much luck. Peace out. Bye.